I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams.
The tragedy that never fully left the public imagination. On August 25, 2001, singer Aaliyah was killed in a plane crash in the Bahamas. The official investigation concluded that the aircraft was overloaded and that the pilot was not properly certified to operate the flight. It was ruled an accident. For many, that was the end of the story, a heartbreaking case of negligence and poor decision-making. But for others, the details never sat comfortably. An overloaded plane, a questionable pilot, reports that she had been hesitant about boarding. Over time, these fragments turned into lingering doubt. And in the age of social media, doubt doesn't fade, it multiplies. The video explains how unresolved grief often fuels alternative interpretations, especially when the person lost was young, influential, and at the peak of their career. Aaliyah wasn't just an artist, she represented a future that suddenly vanished. And when a future disappears abruptly, people look for something more than mechanical failure to explain it. The timing that sparked internet speculation. Next, the video shifts toward timing, the element that online commentators often point to as suspicious. Aaliyah's passing occurred in 2001. In 2003, Beyoncé launched her solo career with overwhelming success. The narrator explains that some internet users have drawn connections between these events, suggesting that one artist's absence created space for another's dominance. However, the video emphasizes that correlation is not proof of causation. The music industry is competitive by nature, and multiple artists often rise in overlapping eras. Still, in online communities, timelines can become narratives. When two major events occur close together, people instinctively search for patterns. The video doesn't endorse the theory, it analyzes why the theory persists. Human psychology favors stories over randomness, and when careers shift dramatically in a short window, audiences sometimes interpret coincidence as orchestration. That's how speculation begins, not with proof, but with proximity. The Jay-Z narrative and internet amplification. From there, attention moves to Jay-Z, whose name frequently appears in online discussions tied to both artists. The video explains that because Jay-Z later became both a powerful industry figure and Beyoncé's partner, conspiracy-minded audiences sometimes retroactively place him at the center of earlier events. Clips, old photos, and lyrics are re-examined through a new lens. Lyrics that once seemed like casual boasts are reinterpreted as coded messages. Public appearances are reframed as hidden clues. The narrator carefully explains that none of these interpretations constitute evidence. They reflect how internet culture works. Once a theory gains traction, every detail becomes part of the puzzle. Silence becomes suspicious. Neutrality becomes strategic. In the algorithm era, speculation spreads faster than verification. The video highlights how online ecosystems reward dramatic interpretations over new.
Nicki Minaj's feud and financial disputes. The next point explores how Nicki Minaj became part of the conversation. Nicki has publicly expressed frustrations about business dealings and alleged financial disputes related to streaming platforms and contracts. The video clarifies that financial disagreements in the entertainment industry are not uncommon, especially when large sums of money and ownership stakes are involved. However, when those disputes unfold publicly, audiences sometimes connect them to larger narratives. In this case, some online commentators merged Nicki's business grievances with long-standing conspiracy theories about industry power dynamics. The narrator emphasizes that no court rulings have confirmed the extreme claims circulating online. Instead, what we see is narrative stacking, where separate controversies get woven into one overarching storyline. The more names involved, the more dramatic the theory becomes.
The Epstein era and institutional distrust. The video then widens its lens to examine why audiences are more receptive to elite conspiracy narratives today than they were 20 years ago. The exposure of crimes connected to Jeffrey Epstein deeply damaged public trust in powerful institutions. When people saw that influential individuals could operate unchecked for years, it reshaped how many interpret celebrity culture. Even unproven allegations now land in an environment primed for suspicion. The narrator explains that this broader context fuels reinterpretations of past tragedies. It doesn't mean every theory is true, but it does explain why audiences are quicker to question official narratives. In an era of declining institutional trust, silence from public figures can be interpreted as concealment rather than strategy. And once suspicion becomes the default lens, nearly any detail can be reframed as part of something.
Power of myth around fallen icons. At this stage, the video reflects on how myth forms around artists who die young. Aaliyah joined a tragic lineage of stars whose deaths remain culturally sensitive. When an artist passes at their peak, their story freezes in time. That freeze frame invites reinterpretation. The narrator explains that myths thrive in unanswered spaces. Because fans never got to see how her career would evolve, alternative endings fill the void. Conspiracy theories provide narrative closure where reality offers randomness. It feels more satisfying to believe in hidden design than in tragic accident. The video doesn't validate the silence factor. Finally, the video addresses one American accent, the silence factor. Finally, the video addresses one of the most common talking points, celebrity silence. Online commentators often argue that if accusations were completely false, lawsuits or aggressive denials would follow immediately. The narrator explains that public figures sometimes choose silence for legal, strategic, or reputational reasons unrelated to guilt. Responding to every online rumor can amplify it further. But in the age of social media, silence itself becomes content. Viewers interpret it through whatever lens they already hold. To believers, silence confirms. To skeptics, it's a non-story. The video ends by reframing the core issue. This isn't just about a plane crash, a feud, or rising careers. It's about how modern audiences process power, tragedy, and distrust. The real story may not be hidden sabotage.
And we're all about to see what those look like.
Stay tuned.
This isn't over. Not by a long shot.
Narrative.